Space, the final frontier, and stars, the things that we are commanding. These are the voyages of the starship Godzilla's Poo. Where does Godzilla poop? Chris Charlton for wheredoesgodzillapoop.com, and today we're having a look at Star Command on the iPhone. A kind of controversial title is coming from Warballoon, a Kickstarter project that's kind of grown 18 months behind schedule and is very different to what they originally proposed. That game originally being a kind of trading, kind of civilization style experience where there was going to be lots of diplomacy and navigating across the galaxies and things like that. That didn't come to pass. The developers came out and said that this final game is about 20% of what they had originally envisioned in the thing they put up on Kickstarter, which has meant a lot of people are justifiably pissed off. But it's kind of a shame that this game is going to get a lot of heat, by the people that were kind of screwed by Kickstarter kind of failing as a concept, without really, heading into the fact that Star Command is a hell of a lot of fun as just a kind of resource management and combat strategy game. So, let's jump in. I've got 3 saves here. I'm going to jump in and show you my ship here. Obviously the Star Trek kind of influences are very obvious just in the soundtrack that you can hear in the background. The fact that the default character skin is basically Jean-Luc Picard and all the rest of it, so that you have sort of the same colour shirts of guys as in the Star Trek TV show. Obviously that's where its inspirations are. So this is the great starship Godzilla's Poo. I am right now floating around Earth, so Earth being a nice safe planet. We're nice and safe. There's me up in the bridge, and you can see we've got different colors of rooms here and different colors of guys in those rooms. Okay, each room has a different job and each guy has a different job that's in there. So my red room, this is a weapons firing room, so that's my plasma laser thing. This is my machine gun thing, and my machine gun man in person is not in the right place. You see when I click on a crew member here, you've got numbers in the top left corner. That's for their level of experience in terms of engineering, in terms of strategy, engineering, and something else. I can't remember what the game turns them, but basically these are for weapons, for shields, or for sort of deflecting shots in terms of rooms, but in terms of people, that's for fighting, healing, and repair. So I've got a couple of people here who are kind of, we had a bit of a scrap with some zombies earlier on. So my blue-shirted dude there, his health is in the yellow, and so is my person in the engineering room here. So I'll just send that crew member over to the machine gun range. Much like something like XCOM, you can rename each of these people, which is brilliant because you have such a personal attachment to anyone when they're under your control. So I'm going to send good old J-Dog over to here to heal my engineering member there. It's odd that the medics don't heal themselves, so I'm going to need to jump in here and hire one more medic to help out. So this is where you recruit your staff. You pick whichever one appeals to your sensibilities. They all start off the same, so it doesn't really matter who you have. I'm gonna take Hannah here because she's got luxuriant hair. And so everything you do uses tokens, and these are the resources that you gather. You get tokens for completing missions, and that kind of thing as rewards. So I'm going to use my last token here. It doesn't matter what color I use. to hire a staff member. We'll just keep her name. And she appears on the bridge here, and from there I can assign her a job by clicking on a room that's appropriate. So by clicking on the blue shield room there, she becomes a blue medic, and we just have to wait for her to get over. Basically, this is a game about intense activity, followed by periods of just kind of cooling down and chilling out and figuring out where you are, and sort of taking stock and repairing and things like that, because the battles are just so frenetic, as we'll see in just a little bit, that you really need all of your resources on hand as possible. So it's nice to have these moments, these downtimes, to sort of chill out and take stock, but it can get a little frustrating because, especially for a mobile game, you're waiting for a lot of timers to charge up here. You might think, if you're cynical like me, that you could speed up these timers with in-app purchases, but in fact you can't. There's no IAPs in this game, and that really makes, because everything's very timer based, it means all of your decisions are really important. Because I think we're going to get into trouble, I'm going to use each of my rooms here to generate ammo shells before I get going. These things will come really important in combat later on. So I've just used my yellow room to generate an ammo token here, which will let me deflect shots in combat. And I'm going to do the same here. And everything that shield generator has, that will sort of recharge our shields. The red rooms here don't need any maintenance per se, they're just going to take care of themselves, and the engine room, it just needs a guy there, he's going to take care of himself as well. Basically the game goes on until your captain dies, so he's just hanging out up there. He can get into fights, but obviously you want to protect him as much as possible, because if he dies, it's game over. Okay, so how are we doing? Emoting along? Obviously there's resource management here in terms of how you apply your staff. The more staff you have in a certain room, the quicker those bars will fill up there. And as you'll see, it's going to become really important to change people's jobs on the fly, especially when things get sort of hairy and you're going to have people boarding your ship. You need as many people fighting as you can, because only the red shirt guys have phasers, and then you're gonna have to switch from there to try and get hold of engineers to repair your ships and guys to heal your other guys. It's gonna get really hairy here in just a second, so I'm just gonna gather this last ammo token here and then we'll head out. Come on, there we go. Okay, I'll just set them making something else, but we won't go into it too much here. It's always important. These rooms will generate resources as long as someone is in them. The more people in them, the faster the resources are generated. But it's always important to have something happening in each of these rooms. Okay, so let's head out. And here we are, we're on the sort of the map of the systems here, obviously starting with our own solar system. If you head out, I've been to Mars just now, but it goes wider, as you can see. There's more and more sort of coming in updates later on. I don't know whether those are going to be paid or free, probably a mix of the two. For example, you'll be able to smuggle contraband and things like that. There was going to be a mining element, but that was one of the things that got canned in development. So let's head out. The yellow markers are places I've already been. I can go back there to have the same fights, just on higher difficulties, and gain more sort of XP and more tokens. But we're going to head out to Venus. Basically, this is going to be the first mission out of the tutorial, so pretty early on. Warp drives engaged, and here we are. Energy signatures. So it's all done in this sort of twee, sort of 16-bit art style. It really reminds me of something like, you know, the Maxis or the Bullfrog sim games. Theme Park, oddly, and Theme Hospital. It really seems sort of very reminiscent of that. Peaceful, fun-loving guys? Or are they? Or are they? Few. So this is, you know, kind of again where things were a little bit cut. There would, before in the pictures, there would be a lot more sort of dialogue options. Where here there are some choices, as we'll see in just a bit, but it kind of seems that a lot of them are fight or fight or fight. But here we've only got one choice, so we'll let these guys on. Yeah, those guys seem pretty happy. Walked on board here. One of the refugees is on our bridge right now. Space asylum seeking. Immigration issues. Yeah. I bet if I leave all my credits in some bank account somewhere. Okay, so they sense a moral choice coming. In fact, I know there's a moral choice coming because I played this bit before. It's because I'm a professional broadcaster. Okay, voice communication. It seems slightly familiar if you've watched something like Futurama or things like that. A lot of these, there's a lot of really good humor in the design so far. Just one of the first tutorial missions is you're fighting zombies that are actually Russian cosmonauts that were just left there after the Cold War and starved to death and then became space zombies. Yeah, we've run into these guys before, so strong monkey man. That he'll show up later on. Moral choices. Should I take the money or do the right thing? I think I'm a good ambassador for humanity, so I think the princess is going to stay with us. But we're going to pay the price. And here we go, let's fighting. I love this. I love the little sort of fighting game style introduction here. Okay, so first things first, I've got to assign this person to a task, and then we've got a free space up here. Now you see here I've got 4 bars at the bottom. These are timers that are going to fill up. The yellow and blue bars, once they fill up, I can use one of the ammo tokens I made earlier to either regenerate my shields or deflect shots. But what I want really is for these red bars to fill up so that I can unleash some kind of attack. You can see there, they're just going to get the first shot in, I think. But my shield should, my shield should absorb that, but we're in trouble. And, so I'm using, it's just a time-based minigame, you have to stop the things in the right section, but I'm being boarded. So this is where everything goes crazy. I've got to click someone over there. You see the area of effect around each person's feet. They'll shoot anybody within that circle. So everything's going crazy all the way already right off the bat, because I've got to draw some of the people out of my weapons rooms so that they can come in and attack these guys. In fact, I'm going to pull one person and reassign them as a red shirt so that they can help with the fighting, or at least charge my enemies as I'm taking care of these guys. So this gets really, really tricky, really quickly. Get back in your room. And you. Ah, and we're being attacked, so I'm going to use that to deflect. Use my yellow bar to deflect the shots there. And my weapon's being tied up, and I've taken care of one wave. We should be setting that to generate ammo. But we've already... We don't want to do that. But we've already reached the capacity for that. And here we go again. So, I only got one of them there. It gets pretty tricky to do the timing there. Each different weapon, as we'll see, the machine gun on the right-hand side of the screen there has a different minigame attached to it. So here, you have to, as the circle goes by, tap the screen to fill up, and now I can blast away. You can actually take a look and see those shots hit, but we're so busy all the time that you're not going to get a chance. It seems things have lightened up a little bit, but I think it's only going to get crazier from here on out. Yeah, we've got a bit of a cooldown here while we're waiting. My red's nearly charged up there, so I should be able to get a shot in. As I said, it does get pretty tense, especially if your shield degenerates and then you're going to start taking damage. The interesting thing with the damage as well is, this hasn't happened to me, but I have read just digging around online that you know, when your shield degenerates, you start taking damage in different parts of your ship, and that affects how your ship operates. But you can use that to your advantage. So if there's a breach in the hull and you stay clear from that area of the ship, anybody that beams in to attack you will be sucked out into the vacuum. So you can use that to your advantage a little bit. So a lot of it really sort of clever stuff. And yes, I got all three of them there. Yeah, sorry if I ramble here, but you need sort of every kind of bit of concentration. In the tutorial levels, I was thinking, well, is this it? There's a lot of sort of waiting for timers to fill up and nothing really much going on. But, you know, now we're into a bit more of the full swing of things. It does seem to get an awful lot busier. You're constantly juggling these plates, especially if they're sending more people into board. But it seems we've got them... I just wasted that ammo token. Wow, so we've taken a hit there. And because they've managed to get a hit in, I think they've also managed to send some people across to attack us. So as I said, it's constantly about keeping these plates spinning and sort of taking out anybody that's on your ship there. These people are going to fend for themselves kind of automatically in terms of firing, but you want to get them into strategic positions. Also, as they level up, they'll be able to gain special abilities that sort of extend their range or deliver sort of more critical shots. Okay, go back to the machine gun room and get you over there. This, I have to say, has gone an awful lot better than the first time I played this mission. So sometimes it can help to have just a save in hand and sort of be a bit cheeky and cheat here. But I think, judging by the fact that we're halfway done on their hull, I've got this kind of in hand. When you are sort of juggling, putting out fires and using your yellow shirts to take care of damage, and then having to heal at the same time, it gets pretty hairy, especially, as I said, because each of these people you have that sort of XCOM style personal attachment to, because they're your people then, you know. And I think I'm just gonna get hold. Thanks for taking me. I screwed that up completely. That was waste. And I think we're gonna have to take care of more creatures here because we're just gonna get hit. Let's see, one person out. Ah, man. It can get, I mean, it's a skill that has to be acquired, definitely. You know, doing those mini games. What you got figured out? You can zoom way in, and it's, but you get sort of surprisingly gruesome. One thing I always used to like when playing those sort of old sim games and theme parks and hospital, things like that, it was great to sort of zoom in and just see the little intricate animations that go on your ship or in your theme park or everything like that. And these get kind of grisly when you are sort of under attack. A couple of hits off. Thing. Hopefully, no. Bit of duress here. I think my guy's gonna die. Jay's gonna die. Oh no! Jay's been decimated. Ah, we've got 2 deaths. Everything's falling apart. The thing is now I've lost 2 of my sort of weapon technicians as well. So we're in trouble. I'm going to have to reassign him so that he becomes a red shirt. And we've taken out the ship, but that isn't the end of it because we have to now sort of dispose of everybody. I can also make her a red shirt by jumping into the other one. Actually, let's take you out. It does have that same sort of frustration that you get with an XCOM where it's like you're sort of so close and then the sort of last enemy pulls off some wickedly lucky shots and takes out your best man, you know, even when, as I said, I was getting all sorts of cocky and arrogant there and saying, well, we've got this in hand, but I don't think we did. That's for Jay. Oh, come on. There we go. Finally. We've got it done. Have we? Is that everyone? I think so. The music's faded out. Yeah. We've got it sorted. For some reason the sounds died out. There are like a couple of bugs in this when it comes to sound. We're assured that those things will get ironed out. So we're rewarded by those tokens with which we can hire new people. We can also upgrade our ship staff and upgrade our rooms in the ship. But lest we forget, it wasn't Jay. Jay lived. Yeah, sorry Dave. Dave's gone. Oh, and Hannah's gone as well. I just hired her. Terrible. But we've managed to rank up a few of our people there. So that's it. That's Star Command in a nutshell. There's, you know, it's just this frantic, almost sort of time management, resource management stuff going on. And it's one of those games where if you boil it down, it doesn't really seem to do all that much. But it does it with just such sort of energy and charm. I think if you ever enjoyed any of the Kairosoft games and you kind of wanted something that's a little bit more sort of hands-on and certainly a lot more violent than that, then you should give Star Command a shot. It's a bit of a shame perhaps that it's not quite what they said it was going to be from the outset, but I think what they made instead is definitely a really fun game in its own right. I'm just getting started with Star Command, so there will be more on the game on wheredoesgodzillapoop.com in the near future, including a full written review. But until then, I'd say it's safe to say that it's certainly worth a shot. So keep watching the skies. I've been Chris Charlton. Thanks for watching.